Does a woman's weight matter?
Does it matter to who? Like, does it matter in what? Like, in a relationship, a woman's weight?
Yeah. Let's just say you meet someone and they're a certain weight, but outside of, because of course kids are going to do, but outside of having kids or anything, they dramatically change over, let's just say over a couple years.
That would probably need to be answered by a male, because, I mean, I don't know, but from the way that I would look at this situation would be, for a female in the relationship, is your weight prohibiting you from being active in that relationship and doing things that you used to do and used to enjoy doing with your husband? Did that increase of weight, is it now stopping you from saying yes to going out, responding and saying, yes, I'll go to these parties, you know, hanging out with friends, going out with other couples, being adventurous? If it is, then yes, I think that your weight is a problem for the relationship.
Well, I would
But
say,
wait, let me just finish.
Oh.
But if you, as a female, if you start to put on weight, you put on a considerable, what maybe the guy would think is a considerable amount of weight, but you are still, your health is okay, you're confident, you're keeping up, you're wanting to go out, you know, everything, you're keeping up with what you need to do as the other half of that relationship, then I don't know that there's really much for a guy to complain about. You put on too much weight, you're not gonna be able to check all those boxes. So
should there be something before someone gets married? Should that be something that's discussed as far as the whole weight thing? Because people, like you're saying, people do physically are attracted to each other first before they get to know the person. So if you, should that be talked about before you get married, like a weight, I wouldn't say a weight standard, but I mean, should it be discussed at all?
I think the only reason, or the only reason it should be discussed is maybe if you are somebody that is a total issue for you. Like, and that's with anybody with anything in a relationship. People maybe have that one thing that is an absolute, I can't deal with that. And whatever that is, that should be discussed up front.
Oh, I agree.
But if you're not that type of person up front, and it just kind of happens, and you're maybe not 100% okay with it, but it happened. I mean, I feel like if you really love each other, so you're gonna love that person regardless. And especially if knowing that they put on all that weight, they're still doing everything you want them to do with you. I think how could how could it be a problem?
So I would say it's a catch-22 as a male. As a male, I would say I can see what you were saying at the first part, is that for a woman, they could start to get insecure about doing certain things, and they could start pulling away, which will pull away from the guy emotionally, because if you are emotionally in tune with a female and there's things that you were doing and were doing as a couple, and then as she put on weight, she wanted to do them less, but you didn't understand that. It almost, to you, seems like that she's changing because she's not telling you why she doesn't want to do these things, that she's insecure about her weight. I think that's one thing that would drive a wedge for a guy. But I'll also say that if it's a considerable amount of weight, and this does sound shallow, but if it's a considerable amount of weight outside of having babies or anything like that, is that I think that would be something that would turn a guy off too. Because as a guy, for me, it's always been that if I meet you, and I understand everybody, just like when you met me, I was muscular, bigger. I'm not there anymore. I don't want to work out like that anymore. But I was 20, 25 pounds heavier. I was 25 pounds heavier with muscle, but I'm not that anymore.
That's okay.
I
You're still keeping up and doing things with me.
But I would say that if you gain a considerable amount of weight, that a guy would possibly not be as attracted to you because he was attracted to to you when he met you. And so I would say that for a guy, if I see that if you're working on something and working on it, and that you're still struggling with it, that's different from not working on it. You see what I'm saying?
That I agree.
And I think guys would have resentment at some point in time if for no better words, if you were just kind of letting yourself go what we felt like.
Yeah.
And I think it would be vice versa, that if a female had met a guy and he was basically just letting himself go, wasn't keeping up, shaving, basically just looked like Fred Sanford from Sanford and Son. Yeah, I think that would also, if a guy gained considerable weight, if a guy had a pot belly and didn't have any other qualities that he brought, because you see guys that are overweight, but then they do make a lot of money. That kind of, I think, offsets a little for some females. But I would say is that looks does matter to both sides. Last thing I'll say, I've always had this thing is that if you were to break up, would you stay the size that you are once you hit the dating market? Or would you then try to at least try to get back in shape? If you at least try to get back in shape if you hit the dating market, why can't you at least try to be in shape while you're with me?
That's what I said. When you are in a healthy relationship, you should constantly strive to be the best form of yourself that you can be for that other person, and hope that they do the same for you. I don't care if you met somebody a month ago, 3 years ago, or 10 years ago. You should always care what you look like when you walk into a room where that person is.
And keep it spicy.
Yes.
You gotta keep it spicy. And the last thing I would say is, I think for guys is that as long as a guy truly loves the female, gaining a little bit of weight, isn't a big deal for a guy, just for the simple fact is that connection that a guy has with that female at the time, as long as that connection stays, I think he's more happy with that than having some model type body for the rest of his life that he has no connection with. So.
We're on the same page with that one.